Hola, bonjour, merhaba, konnichiwa, wangan. Hello, welcome to EP Rewind. This is episode 2. Today we have the pleasure to have brought on Ms Villaseñor to speak about her senior class project in which they built new benches and put up the university flags that we see in C-Wing. So everybody, please give a very warm welcome to Ms Villaseñor. How are you, ma'am?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well.
Well, let's get right into this. Let's start off simple. What inspired you to do this project? Like, what necessity was there that brought this into happening?
Well, it was, we got started because of Mr. Bowles, Rudy Bowles. He, at one point, had wanted to do some benches, and so he requested, or he asked if the senior class of that particular year would be able to purchase some benches, and so that's how it got started, with him requesting the first year. And then after that, Ms. Chong and I, we were the sponsors for some of the classes, the senior classes after that particular year. And then we started coming up with ideas. Okay, at the end of the year, we have, the fundraising or the money that was left over from the senior classes after we had paid everything off. How can we spend that money to make our school better? And so that's where we got the idea. But it first originally came from Mr. Bowles asking, and then we just kind of got on the ball and started moving on that.
Well, I actually didn't know that. I don't think many people knew. I think, well, as seen, many people just notice it, but they don't think much about it. And how was it achieved? Like, I'm assuming it took a lot of fundraising. So what were the methods of fundraising, or like other side efforts that had to be done to get this achieved?
Well, the thing is that throughout the class, the year, let's take the senior year, right? There were several fundraisers that were held. Fundraisers. One of the really good ones that we used to do was the talent show. And I don't think that's being done anymore. I'm not sure about that.
No.
The talent show was something that we would do, and that would bring extra money into the class. And then we also, and then with that fundraiser, we also got the prom going. Okay, and that's how we started the prom. Prom has always been around, but that assisted us in getting, the venue and getting whatever was needed. And then if there was money left over, but our big fundraiser, I think, was the talent show at the time. Yeah, that's what assisted us in trying to purchase or have that extra cash, so that we could buy something for the school.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I think we've had a podcast here done on the talent show, because it's something that's no longer here anymore. I think it went out about 5 years ago.
And I think that's about the time that I stopped, maybe a little bit before, that I stopped sponsoring classes. I think we were one of the last classes or the sponsors that did talent shows.
Yeah. How did people react to it? Like, was there any sort of either backlash or unusual reaction to?
It wasn't unusual. As a matter of fact, I think the kids, once the flags were up, the benches were out, all of those, I saw that it was very positive. To me, it just brings a little bit of pride to the school and how beautiful it looks. And I think we need to do more of that, so that the kids can, and it came from the kids, it came from the students. It wasn't anything that I did or that Ms. Chong did at the time. We were just kind of guiding the students, and they, with their efforts, they were the ones that raised the money and made it happen. And so once we put, class of, whatever class, they thought, oh wow, that's my class. They felt really proud of the fact that they were able to do that.
Yeah.
And of course we told them, this is what we're going to be doing with all this money. We're buying flags, or what do you think? And so it made it, they owned that, that it made it even more special, I think.
What hardships do you think were encountered while doing this? Like, any major setbacks or anything? Wow. having this project done?
The flags in C Wing, the only setback that we had that was very unfortunate was that once the flags were up, we had a couple of them stolen. Yeah, a couple of them were stolen by students, and that was not good. I mean, I think that was very upsetting, especially us that we went through, trying to get them and ordering them, and then of course the students that bought them from their money and their hard work, for someone to just come in and steal them. We were really lucky that our police officers, and I tip my hat to them because they were amazing. They were able to find the person that did it, and they were able to retrieve those flags. So I mean, hooray for them, and I was very happy when they told me, I got it, ma'am, we have the flags. I was like, yay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad everything actually worked out after that.
It did.
In total, how much do you think it ended up costing, like, for everything together?
Well, I mean, each of the projects were done, like the benches, the cement benches that are outside. That was 1 year. There's some benches, plastic, like they're made of metal, but they're covered in
the orange ones.
Orange ones. Those we were the ones that ordered them. Those were another year, and then the flags were from another class. So I want to say maybe $1,500, $2,000, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah, $1,500 would be the max. Yeah, for a project. Yeah, give or take. I mean, I can't remember, but yeah, I'm thinking about $1,500.
Yeah. And did people notice, after this was done, did people notice it? Did they react well?
Yeah, I think they did, especially once they saw that their class, that particular class, and their name was on it, the senior class of.
Yeah.
That made it even more noticeable, because you could put a bench, and if it's not labeled or it's just there, kids don't really pay attention. But I do remember that some of my students, the kids that I was sponsoring, hey, they put up the benches. They would come and tell you, Miss Chong or I, they put up the benches, and it has our class and our year. And that was the point, so that they would be able to notice it and feel proud of what they were able to accomplish. And to be remembered, even today, if you go and you look at them, you remember the class of whatever, the year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How much impact did this leave on the school? I mean, obviously, as aforementioned, maybe the flags don't go noticed that much, but the benches, of course, people are constantly using them. How much impact do you think this had, in the long run?
Well, I'm hoping that it's still impacting kids, because they're still using them, and maybe they don't know the story behind them, and hopefully with this, they will be able to understand where it came from. I'm hoping that it did really positive. I know that short term, the students that were involved really liked them, and hopefully the kids are enjoying them still, and now know where it came from.
Well, that's very good, ma'am. Conclusion. Well, what do you think it has left or will leave? Will people remember that? Do you think that one day someone's gonna go by and say, hey, this class did this, that's really cool?
I hope they do. I really hope they do, because I was very proud to have sponsored those students, and their hard work paid off. They did an excellent talent show. We had excellent students at the time, and then of course prom, and their year was really, really awesome. I'm hoping that people do remember, or even if they come and visit, those ex-students, the alumni, they'll come by and still remember when these benches were put, or when these flags were set up. when those benches outside, the orange ones were there, and so I'm hoping that they do remember, and it leaves a legacy of, hey, we want our school to look good. We want to add more stuff that'll make it really good.
Well, this draws us to an end. Thank you very much, Ms. Villaseñor. It was a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for listening to EP Rewind. At this time, I would like to give a huge thanks to the history teacher, Ms. Villaseñor, of course, the department head, Ms. Vasquez, our audio-video teacher, Mr. Sanchez, our CTE director, Ms. Ana Castillon, and of course, our administrators for allowing us to create our productions. This has been an Eagle Public Radio production, online and around the globe, high school-powered radio.